The Mercy main. Often diamond, often female, often only able to play heroes that can hold left click. But stray no more, little Mercy main, for with a master's training, you shall become the best diamond Genji in the European server. No longer will you be called a boosted girlfriend, and no longer will you be told to stop pocketing your favorite DPS, leaving the tanks to die. With a little bit of patience and a lot of discipline, you too can become the most nimble Genji of them all. You can wall climb, you can double jump. That's right, our little Mercy main. Even you can get a 6-man Genji blade. The time has come for the ultimate Diamond Genji mission to commence. Can you go on that side and like dash forward?
I'll just swoop in like.
Exactly! So today, we're gonna be learning Genji tips, and to help me, we've got a Kyrefraction.
I'm Kyrefraction. I'm a former Masters Genji player, and I may not be GM or top 500, but I can give some general tips for the Plat Genjis out there that want to make it to Diamond or Masters.
Nice!
So, for lesson 1, we're just going to look at, as you're a non-DPS and also non-Genji player in general,
Correct.
just kind of the high level of what is the point of Genji, not to get all existential, but we can directly translate this high level stuff into more gameplay when we look at it in probably lesson 2, I suppose. So, I've got a question for you. There's going to be a lot of questions in this.
Okay.
Part 1 is, where does Genji's value as a character come from? So, the question 1 is, what is Genji's role? What do you think Genji's role is in the team?
To flank, to kill support characters, people that are left on their own. And to also be stealthy. Get in, get out, stay alive, deal damage.
Yeah, you're a damage dealer as Genji. You're not a main damage dealer. Like, you can't output the same amount of damage as Bastion, obviously, or probably even a soldier, but you're quicker at converting things into kills.
Yosh.
Okay.
Cool.
So good, yeah. You got a general sense. Question 2. This is coming over a lot of questions, but do you think it's Genji's responsibility entirely to eliminate an enemy Widowmaker or Bastion? Do you reckon Genji would generally is expected to come out on top in these situations?
Not necessarily, because I think a good team would be able to peel and defend those type of characters.
Yeah.
I think Genji does well if the bot just said something really cute. But yeah, I think Genji's good against those characters, but it depends on how the team peels and stuff.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. If you're just solo trying to go for a Widowmaker, the enemy team can easily counter that. And if the Widowmaker manages to grapple to a Mercy, and you're stuck in there with no dash, you've almost certainly fed. A Bastion will never be on his own, but people have these preconceptions that Genji should just be able to kill those characters, and they expect that their Genjis just straight up delete the Widowmaker every single team fight. But it isn't necessarily Genji's responsibility to do that. And if they're not hanging, I say hanging as in like from chess, if they're not defended by anyone, then by all means go for them. But that's not necessarily because it's a Widowmaker or a Bastion, that's just because they're a hanging hero. So if that's not necessarily your role to just eliminate key targets, which I think a lot of people think Genji is supposed to do, and you can definitely play like that if they are hanging, and if you can destroy the enemy team's DPS doing that, then by all means go for it. But you will be punished for that in higher ranks. I found that it's not as clear cut as just straight up go for the Widow and kill her.
Yeah.
So if you're not just going for high value targets, what are you supposed to be going for as Genji? How do you win the game effectively? What's your win condition?
I think he works really good as a distraction as well. So pulling out ults and trying to force out ults like Zen's ult, defensive ults, he's really good for that. Also, like, he's really good against hog hooks and
hog hooks is kind of like you're on the razor's edge. You're definitely walking on a tightrope. If you mistime that deflect or you get hooked, then you are almost dead. Yeah. But yeah, the kind of answer I was looking for was that Genji rather uniquely has one of the strongest ultimates in the game. Dragonblade can win you an entire team fight if it goes well. And the easiest way to carry as Genji is just to get those blades. If you ever attack Temple of Anubis or anything like that, you're not going to win Temple of Anubis by just picking off a Widowmaker. You're going to win Temple of Anubis by destroying the enemy team with a Dragonblade. So this is kind of a big thing with Genji. A lot of Genji's value is generated from his blades and winning team fights. Genji's great at getting your whole team over the line. Well, you might all be great. Certain heroes can output a lot of damage, but they don't output it fast enough. But Genji's Dragonblade does.
Yeah.
And he's also really good at picking off hanging players and managing to survive a lot himself. But the blade is really the big thing for Genji. So yeah, that's piece one. Moving on to the second logical step then is, how do you gauge how well a blade is and how do you get good blades? And so what would you say is optimal value out of a Genji blade?
I'd say at least one support.
Yeah.
Like, if you can get one person, that's good enough for now. It's good. I think like 1 for 1 is sometimes good, but like if you get one and manage to get out, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we were to list some things, maybe like a rubric for hallmarks of a good blade. So what does a good blade have as its outcomes? So you said even just name the obvious stuff like eliminating enemy heroes. Right.
See.
Obvious. The Genji should ideally survive himself. You want to, if you can't eliminate the whole enemy team, which is obviously the perfect blade, then who would you eliminate as priority?
Squishes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you want to ideally the supports out and the DPS. Tanks are a lot more harder, especially like Hammond and Roadhog. Diva, because you've got to wait for it to come out of a mech and all that stuff. Reinhardt can be sometimes easy skill if you've got Nano. But so if the tanks are the only option available to you, then obviously go for them. Try and get some value out of your blade. But that's a good general sense of what a good blade looks like. So on the flip side, what are the hallmarks of a weak blade?
Just kind of feeding and no, like if you don't get anything out of it, as long as you don't die, that's okay.
Yeah.
If you just go in, get killed, get nothing out of it, then that's pretty much the bad side of it.
Yeah, we all know the pro Genji that does this. And I guess.
I actually have a clip of that.
Do you?
Do
Of you
you?
doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, obviously Genji has a bad reputation. It's because that does often happen, and it's surprisingly easy to be immediately killed with your blade. Like, while blade is very strong, it is actually very easily counterable.
Yes.
So, what would you say are the abilities that can ruin a blade?
Transcendence.
Transcendence is an interesting one, but yeah, continue.
With Transcendence, it depends if you got Nano as well, because Nano can get through it, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Sign Barrier, most likely.
Yeah, but not even ultimates.
Oh, got it. Like Xayah Bubble.
Yep, definitely. Soluble.
Sleep and Asleep.
Yep, and Asleep, that's a big one.
A good old shat. I love doing that.
Yeah. You're very insistent on...
I am ultimates. McCree stuns.
Yep, McCree stuns. So Baptiste Lamp.
Yes.
That completely wastes essentially 2 swings. If Lucio speed boosts everyone away, you can't catch anyone. You're done. If Lucio boops you away, you can't catch anyone, and you're done. If you try and go for a Mercy and she Guardian Angels does one of those super jumps and you can't catch her, then you've wasted your dash and you're done. If Roadhog hooks you, if Sombra hacks you, it's essentially over.
There's so
if
many.
Farah can Concussive Blast you away, there are so many things that can destroy a good blade. Maybe Ash's Coach Gun can knock you back.
Yeah.
If everyone shoots you, that's it done. So with there being so many ways of countering a blade, how can you possibly ensure that a blade goes well? Like, how do you think at the moment?
I think being able to keep track of who's alive and who's dead, being able to keep track of what abilities people have as well.
Yes, exactly.
Kind of foreseeing what's actually going to happen when you pull blade.
Yep. So you should check on tab what the enemy team makeup looks like, and identify what are those abilities that can shut my blade down. So if they've only got a Roadhog and that could shut your blade down, you see hook and then you blade. You don't blade while you've not seen hook, or you let someone on your team call out for you. just kind of a side point. What do you think is unique about Zen Transcendence or Lucio Sound Barrier or Brigitta's Rally?
Unique.
And do you think they ruin a blade? Or do you think it's not worth it to blade if it gets countered by Zen Transcendence?
I think sometimes it's worth if you've got another ultimate that's, you know, pretty much like team wipe or could be good in that aspect of just blading to get rid of that ability.
Definitely.
If you
but
do
only
it,
if you don't die.
yeah. Because if you do it, their reaction's probably going to be taught anyway, so it could just a trade.
Yeah, so let's say you're in a hypothetical scenario where you've got Blade, the Zen's got Transcendence, but your Zarya has Graph. You Blade, the Zen Transcendences, you just don't take that team fight, let the Transcendence run out. And then once it's run out, you Graph and you get the team wipe.
Nice.
It doesn't have to be Blade that destroys everything every time. And you will notice that when you do get closer to this Diamond or Master's rank, the Zens will not press Q unless you have pressed Q.
That's true. I've been trying to do that playing as Zen as well, just trying to keep a tally on who has the ults. I think when I play supportive characters, I'm more likely to do that.
Yeah,
but
it's good. It's good to keep track of ultimates. It's a skill that you should ideally have when you're playing every single hero. Okay, so if all these things can stop your Blade, and that's generally how Genji wins games, if the enemy team has a Sombra, a Baptiste, a Roadhog, Lucio, an Echo, a Zarya, should you just switch?
I would say so. I think not in all scenarios. I think it depends how it happens, but I think it's better to pick someone more suitable, I guess.
Yeah, when the enemy's stacked all of these heroes that counter your Blade, like let's say you Blade and then the Lucio speed boosts and then the Baptiste puts a lamp down and everyone clumps up together. If you get close, the Roadhog just hooks you. If you go try to swing at anyone, the Zarya just bubbles them. Then just get out of it. You don't need that in your life.
The negativity.
Like, yeah, you only want to play Genji in a scenario where he's good. Well, it's obvious to say that, but if you're on a bad map for Genji and the enemy team is not weak to Genji in any way, then just don't play him.
Well, just say are the good maps for Genji?
Maps with verticality.
Okay.
So maps where you can take advantage of the verticality to farm tanks, because we've established this idea that getting Blade and killing the enemy team through the Blade is a good way to win games as Genji. So you want to ideally be on a map that helps you get to that goal. So like King's Row is a good one, for example.
I love King's Row.
Yeah, generally the King of the Hill maps. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, Iconwald? I don't know. Sinking Castle, maybe?
Yeah, he's got a good flank on point 1 of Iconwald, which I can show you later on.
That sounds good.
But yeah, so that's good. That's we kind of understand the fundamentals of what a good blade looks like. It doesn't. You understand that it doesn't have to kill absolutely everyone. If it wins you the team fight, then it's winning you the team fight. But I mean, it's nice to be flashy in it, and all Genji players would love to have the flashy 6k. So you ideally then want to maximize the ultimate build speed and get those blades as often as you possibly can. So what would you say are the quickest ways to build Blade?
A good time to deflect, I would
Yeah.
say. Dashing, I always need to kind of work on that. Being able to find an opponent, even if you haven't damaged them much yourself, just put a dash through if they're about to die. You can do it again. And just spam shurikens, which is something that I don't do too often.
Yeah. So that was a lot of answers. You essentially just said
was.
every single ability
Just
that
do
Genji
everything.
has. But the easiest way to farm ults, it's the same way as farming ults for every hero really, is to farm tanks. If you can get a good off angle, this is why maps with good verticality are good. Let's say you can get behind the Rhine shield, but not in a way that you're on the same plane as the rest of the team. You just fire some shurikens into his head. Maybe you drop down behind the enemy team and dash through all of them to get back to your own team, deflect on the way out so you don't get killed ideally. And then you get tons of charge doing that. Like a lot. And the heroes that you can farm the easiest are probably D.Va and Roadhog. D.Va keep your distance and Roadhog keep your distance. You never want to be really close. Same with Reinhardt, but you can actually farm ult charge off of Reinhardt.
Yes.
So if you've got this game plan of you're going to get Blade really quick ideally before their supports have got their ultimates online. Do you reckon it's worth taking time off Blade farming to focus a DPS, maybe?
I think it could be. Could be quite worth it. Yeah, definitely.
In what scenario would it be?
I guess peeling.
Yeah, potentially.
And
Genji isn't
kind of
necessarily the best peeler.
No.
Ideally, if you've got like a Roadhog or a McCree, and let's say your Anna's being dived by Doomfist, you're not ideally fighting that Doomfist. You're letting your McCree or Roadhog play their role and be the protector of your Anna, something like that.
Yeah.
But I found that a lot of Roadhogs and McCrees like to be right at the forefront, and they rarely try to play protective role over your Anna. So if it's the only way you can keep her alive, and your team aren't doing the job, then you can. But that's not ideally what Genji is doing.
Yeah.
But sorry, yeah, continue. If you.
More hanging enemies, I guess.
Yes.
Yes.
That's spot on. Converting those kills on hanging heroes. So if McCree's out of line and your Winston's dived him, go with him. Just get that kill. Even if the Winston's going to kill him himself, and you're sure of that, just get that dash in. You get him killed quicker, and then you're with your Winston. You're not hanging yourself, and the Winston's not hanging. You're staying together, and then you can jump your next target or something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be with a Winston. So ideally, which heroes are you looking for to be hanging?
Zen. I think Zen's
Yep, Zen's a big one. Zen's very easy to go.
Mainly like heroes that don't have many movement abilities, I would say. Like McCree would be another one. Zen.
Yep.
I guess it could be Widow in the scenario, but it does depend whether or not she gets that protection. And Anna as well. But Anna's a tough one, I think, because Anna's abilities really do counter.
Yeah. So I've written down a few here. So McCree, but you have to be really careful. McCree can easily just flashbang you and fan the hammer and you're done. You have to, with McCree, ideally have him kind of damaged already, and you just kill him by dashing into him, hitting those shurikens, melee, and then he's finished off. If he's full, then it's much harder a task. But if you get some nice shurikens into his head and a dash, then you can insta kill actually any squishy. I can show you that now if you want.
Yeah.
You come to this training bot. We just look at him in his head and go. You can just kill anything.
What the heck? That's so fast.
You're gonna try that yourself. It's just
So-
the combo is right click and dash.
Okay.
But you want to hit all three into the head and
Do I have
dash
to
him.
be really
straight away.
close?
You don't necessarily have to be really close. If you
I
hit all,
didn't even do all of them.
did you not throw the shurikens?
I have no idea.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna try it again. So right click dash.
Into the head.
Ah, okay. I went for a body shot, I think.
But realistically, you're not going to be able to do that very often.
Yeah.
But you should be able to at least hit some shurikens into the body, dash, and then hit a right click, and then maybe a melee on the way out. And that's your way. That's the way you're going to kill a lot of squishy heroes. And so, but every hero has their, not every hero, but a lot of heroes have their way of getting out of that. With Genji, let's say if you are fighting that McCree, you hit some shurikens on him, he notices you, you dash, and he maybe rolls back, and he stuns you, and then you're dead. The Widowmaker, you have to make sure if you're trying to get a hanging Widowmaker that you do not use your dash to get to her, because she can just grapple away.
Yeah.
And she'll try and probably shoot you as she's grappling away. Hanzo hasn't got the best movement ability. He can wall climb, but you can also wall climb, and he has his leap. But Hanzo can be an easy one. You just have to make sure Hanzo can easily exploit the fact that when you're double jumping on the second one, you're very easy to hit as you're falling down. That's the ideal time to deflect here against Hanzo.
Yes.
Zenyatta, as you said, Zenyatta is just very easy. Zenyatta is skinny, but he's got a fat hitbox. Mercy can be easy if she's not doing like spamming super jumps and going all over the place and flying to a Pharah. If the enemy team is very grounded, you can quite easily pick off a Mercy sometimes. Ashe is also one. She's got a coach gun, which you need to be careful of. But if she is, if you know she's not got coaching available to her right now, you can pick her off. Similarly to McCree. Symmetra can be if she's not near her turrets, and you did mention Anna too. But Anna does have two abilities that can shut you down.
Yes.
But with Anna, you want to definitely get some damage in before you get to her. So yeah, that's generally Genji's role. Do you feel like you have an idea of what you should be doing as Genji and what you shouldn't be doing as Genji?
I think so. Yeah.
Cool. And then my only other last part was the different tips per hero, but there's already that Karku video
Yeah.
that has the tips per hero, and I think that's already perfect, so there's no point trying to reinvent the wheel.
Mhm.
And that'll probably do is for the high level.
Nice.
What is the point of Genji?
To be a big boy, he deals damage, he doesn't die.
Yes. So the big thing in Genji is Blade. This ability right here wins you the game on or not very, very, very often. And you can be great at picking off enemy DPS, but you will, if you're going to rise, you're going to rise on the back of your blade. And so you want to maximize the amount of blades you can do in a game, and you want to have the most value out of those blades.
Yes. Can you show me this one? I want to
see
see
a blade?
it. I want to see it.
I don't have a blade right now. I just literally just fed it. Oh, I just jumped off the map. Oh, you actually.
Oh, are you stuck?
I'm fine.
He's fine. He's fine. I'm gonna attempt a very good Dragonblade, just to give a little checkpoint of where I am right now, and then I'm gonna compare it in the future for when I've had a bit of practice. So I usually wait for this little boy to come out. Oh, this is gonna be so bad. Ah! No! No! Oh, I went for the same one. Okay, yeah. So that's my blades at the moment. Pretty good.
So to recap, a lot of Genji's value comes from his blade, and you need to identify generally where characters are trying to deny your blade's value, and what you can do to ideally minimize the amount of denial that's coming on, and generally just trying to get good matchups in preparation for your blade and trying to maximize the amount of time, minimize the amount of time, sorry, that it takes to get to your blade. I think that'll be setting you on the path to become a good Genji.
Nice. Thank you, Genji Master.
This is lesson 1.
Mada. And so the journey begins for our little Mercy Maid. With a full heart and a determined mind, will she be able to follow in the footsteps of her master to become the best Genji EU? Will she become the most nimble Genji of them all? Find out on the next episode of Mercy Maid to Genji Master. And remember to like, comment and subscribe to know when our new episodes are available. Farewell and good day to you all.